President Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah visited the Xain Xian Quaz Camp in the Omaheke Region, where she engaged with farmers and business communities in that region. The head of state was accompanied by the Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Land Reform, Inge Zaamwani, and other local and regional leadership. Now, Omaheke Governor Pijoo Nganate joins us on the line for a breakdown of this engagement. Good morning, sir, and welcome to Namibia Connects.
Morning, and thank you very much for having me on your program, and also good morning to our listeners.
Now, Governor, can you tell us about the key outcomes from the President's visit to your region?
Yeah, maybe before that, I can mention that the President was here on invitation of the farming community and business community. They extended an invitation to Her Excellency the President, and the President, being the President who she is, who is people-centered, whose people and all development must be people-oriented, and with a vision of every voice must be heard in Namibia. And as per the appointment letters also to all governors, the President mentioned that everyone living within the boundaries of this country, within the boundaries of our region, must feel protected, must feel respected, must feel developed. I believe it's on that premise that the President decided to respond positively to the invitation of the farmers. Now, what was very, very important, Surya, before I continue with something else, is the President entering the venue and be welcomed by the commercial farmers. The ladies stood a guard of honor to welcome her. And then the ladies in the horokes, in the elephant dress of the Omaheke, welcoming her. And all of them singing the song, Welcome Mother of the Nation. That was so touching. It was really so touching. It was such an emotional moment. And then the other moment, 2 moments before I come to your question that were also very impactful was the couple, the white couple singing about Namibia, our beautiful country. We give you our heart. We reach out to each other. And from the south to the north, Karas to Oshikati, and from Kunene to Omaheke. You know, all those beautiful songs have set the scene, as well as the Xain Quaz Camp, which also had its own choir with the owner there, the harmony between the owner and the people working for him, and the fact that the owner can sing so beautifully in all our African languages. I mean, that alone to me was one of the fulfillment of the dream that I had of Omaheke, where we hold hands, where we do not look to each other's color, and where we just become people of one region. That was for me very, very important.
Indeed.
Now, the outcomes of this discussion, the farmers raised a number of issues from farming in general, the impediments that they had in terms of farming productively. Issues of tax were mentioned, issues of the dairy industry that is basically dying in the region were mentioned. Issues of connectivity, internet connectivity were mentioned, especially in rural area. Absence of clinics in rural area, and absence of certain critical services in rural area, and the roads that are not so good within rural areas. All those things were mentioned, and also did the farmers not only come up with problems, but they also came up with solutions. Issues of, for example, dilapidated infrastructure at resettlement farms, fences that are not there, animal diseases that can take place, issues of our border line between Botswana and Namibia that is not in order, and that can, for example, promote foot and mouth disease. And the farmers also came up with we can help the government, for example, in repairing the fences of government farms that are broken down, provided government give us the material.
Right.
So on the one hand, the farmers had problems, but they also had solutions to those problems. They had assistance that they were offering to the government. And 2 critical issues for me were the 16-year-old boy who's already flying planes and flying drones, doing work there, and also had the President speaking about drones to be locally manufactured. And he took on this challenge and said, Comrade President, I want to be part of it. and also one of the critical area, priority number 2 sport, where someone who was playing rugby for Namibia now say, I want to plow back into my country and especially into the region of Omaheke. So those were beautiful moments to me, and they were some of the outcomes, and the issue of the uranium mine also that was mentioned, and the water that may be polluted, and where the president also responded that she wants science to dictate on where government should go. And the question that she asked, whether is Namibia the only country that is doing this type of mining method, or is it elsewhere done? And what does the science dictate? So these are some of the outcomes of the president's visit. And of course, also another highlight.
Before you continue, Governor, thank you for setting the scene. I really just want to come in there to say, you've mentioned the issues and the challenges that were raised. Now, how will these challenges, how will these challenges pointed out by the farmers to be addressed, and how will they be addressed, in fact? Can we get to that matter?
Yeah, no, I think the president made an undertaking. She told them that all these interventions are being recorded, and that they will be played to cabinet ministers, and that every minister will take note of an area in his or her specific field, and look for solutions around this, whether further engagement or whether start addressing what is being mentioned as a shortfall. Because these issues were connected to localities. They were not just in the air. I believe that is the way forward.
Now, let's talk a little bit about how important it is for engagement, the importance of engagement for strengthening local economic development and food security in the Omaheke region.
I believe this engagement is very, very important. We recently created what we call the Regional Investment Committee, which have to sit and look at various issues within the region. And also, did the president mention that she is looking forward to have in every region an industrial activity taking place, or not necessarily production activity taking place. And it's now up to us as an investment committee, up to us as farmers to come together and say, what are the solutions to this? One of the things that I'm working on as governor, together, and I had discussions with the attorney, with the prosecutor general and the chief magistrate and the police, that why don't we look towards establishing a stock theft court in Omaheke that will serve the whole country. But the advantage is that this court will sit from Monday to Friday, and so it can address stock theft related cases much faster. Right. And expedite the issue of cases that are delaying and dragging on for years and years. Now, that idea was initially favored by the Attorney General, by the Prosecutor General, as well as the Chief Magistrate. And we need now to have farmers' meetings where we can say what portion can we contribute as farmers while government gets its house in order. And those are not only the farmers of Omaheke, but could also go out to all the other farmers across the country. And luckily, they do have unions that are representative at national level. Now, that case, for example, can address the issue of stock theft cases that was very much highlighted. And another issue that was also highlighted is the mushrooming of children in the streets. And a proposal was made that a working committee be put together, and we already have such a committee that is looking at the issue of street kids. We do have plans how to try and get them off the streets, and the president also have given another assignment to us, is that don't only look at the child, look also at the environment where the child comes from, and also the parents. They must be rehabilitated, they must be integrated, and so on. So I think in terms of finding each other as people of the region, this platform was very, very important.
Definitely found a common ground there, Governor, by the looks of things, when you talk about stock theft and also street children. So commitments were made, promises were made by government to the farmers and to the entrepreneurs as well. Now, how does this visit actually fit into the broader government strategy for rural development, let's say, and support also to the local farming communities?
Yeah. No, I think this engagement with the president is very, very of cardinal importance. For example, if you take the issue of dairy that was mentioned, this dairy industry in Omaheke was fitting into the schools in terms of their needs for milk. The schools went on and started buying powder milk and cut out the fresh milk that could be supplied to the farmers. That could, for example, stimulate the economy in the region. And all the farms have closed down within Omaheke, with the exception of about 2 of them that are still operational. Now, that point was brought forth, and it brings a dialogue to say, why don't we sit and revisit this industry? And why don't we come up with directives, for example, to the Ministry of Education, to the Defense Force, and say, let the Defense Force within Omaheke, the Ministry of Education, the hospital, get all their milk from the farmers here. Then you have created a market for them. They don't need to go outside to look for a market. So these are the importance of this, that they bring us actually to come sit down and to reconsider our practices. The president is also very, very strict on local procurement. She mentioned that we must promote local procurement. It means like the procurement committee now must refocus their attention more on local as opposed to outside the region.
Right.
And services must be obtained from within the region.
Right. And just given your perspective as a governor, how has the community actually responded to the president's engagement, and what impact do you anticipate from this interaction?
I think one of the things that every speaker have mentioned was to express trust, to express confidence in the leadership of the president. And also the other thing that they have done, they pledged to work with him, to work with her administration also, and to help her fight issues of poverty, unemployment, societal issues like the mushrooming of shebeens, the uncontrolled outlets of liquor, the uncontrolled way how we giving liquor licenses, and we have more liquor outlets as opposed to having any other services. So that alone, to me, was the very, very important point, because now we are narrowing that gap that is always there of mistrust and just thinking that everything is corrupt, everything is not going well. And the farmers themselves were lifting out these issues in their discussion and say, hey, look here, when it comes to roads, we are first in Africa. When it comes to whatever, we are second in Africa. We are first in the world. We are second in the world. And I mean that positivity, that you did not only see farmers becoming negative and talking about the bad in the country, but also what is bad, but what is also good, and that we should strengthen one another. And there was a very important metaphoric picture that was created by the director of ceremony, who said he had a black sock and a white sock on, and these socks are representing the demography of our country, the tribal, the diversity within our country, and say whatever socks you have on, does it matter? They serve the purpose of being socks. And whatever people you have in the country, maybe I cannot say does it matter, because definitely our diversity matters, and our diversity is what makes us strong.
Exactly.
But what we need to do is to hold hands, move together, and build this country. It will not help if we sit on the sideline and look at who is failing and to what extent is failing. We're going to do a disservice for our children and children,
yeah.
and they will one day pee on our graves.
Right.
But if we can now start building a beautiful country for generations to come, then that's the way to go.
Building the country through diversity. I think that's very key, Governor. Now, finally, just to close off the interview and before we part ways, how can other stakeholders, in the industry as well as public, contribute to or support the initiatives that you just mentioned in this interview that were discussed during the visit?
Yeah. No, so yeah, one of the beautiful things that happened amidst all the darkness and amidst all the misery and amidst all the death cases that the region has experienced, number one with COVID, we lost 7.6 2% of our population of Omaheke during COVID. And then came the issue of drought, and then came the issue of malnutrition, and we lost lives. These are lives. They are not figures. They are not just numbers. There's a life behind it. There's a name behind it. There's a relative. There's a loved one behind all these people that we are now turning into figures. It's the issue that the community of Omaheke have started to embrace the spirit of Ubuntu, of oneness, the spirit of solidarity, and the 42 soup kitchens that we have in the region are all being supported by various farmers, communal and commercial farmers, by businesses. That solidarity, that spirit that is within Omaheke, that people are start caring for each other, where people are start saying, your business is my business, and you are not alone in this, and you're not a burden. You are my brother, you are my sister. I want to pull you out of your misery, out of that dark hole where you are.
Right.
That one is very beautiful, and I think that's very fundamental in wanting to build a nation, in wanting to build a society. But we have a long way to go. We still have trust issues. We still have issues where people are really seeing no light. But now in the new administration of Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah president,
yes,
we all can see a light. Even us as governors, when we go out there, we speak from a point of confidence. We speak from a point knowing that what we say is what the appointing authorities say. And the appointing authorities also have the opinion that if laws need to be changed and to be broken, he is ready to go to jail for those laws to be repealed, to be corrected, and for the sake of the Namibian people. And honestly, Omaheke is the smallest population in the whole country, 102,000 people.
Yes.
And I also want to say, just like here, we are too few in Omaheke to speak of starvation, to speak of malnutrition, to speak of hunger, while we have a region that is so fertile in soil, a region that is so rich in animals.
Yeah.
But this wealth needs to be distributed, and it starts with land allocation. And I'm happy that I'm having a meeting tomorrow with the Minister of Lands, and I'm going to talk about overcrowded farms. I'm going to talk about people in corridors. I'm going to offer solutions together with the Omaheke leadership to the minister and say, this is how we have been thinking about the issues of land within our region and how to make them productive and how to bring about equity and how to make sure that there is inclusivity and no one is left out.